Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. This early morning, Arsenal Brighton, the early team news, and obviously a bit of the preview because we will have a match build-up show later on at 5. We shall have a match build-up show, and probably we shall have a match watch-along later on. But thanks everybody for joining me this early morning. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from in all parts of the world. It's another big preview. It's another big Arsenal team news ahead of Brighton. Look, I think this is a game that is a bit cruel, but it's going to be very, very decisive. I think this is the ultimate test. I think this is a test that has just come in the right time. We are going to the Amex, one of the very difficult places to travel to this season. Brighton are having the season of their life. We've got to say that, right? They're having the season of their life. They have started the season so well. And shall look at a couple of facts on this game. The last time we played Brighton, in the league, and they are above us. The last time that happened was so many years ago. Arsenal were still playing at the Highbury. And now, here we go. It's come again. Arsenal playing at the Emirates Stadium in the Premier League, and we are below Brighton in the ranking. So it's a big game. It's an absolutely big game. A big game for Mikel Arteta. A big game for the team. We are breaking off into the international break. You want to go with the win. You want to end things on a high note. Mikel Arteta has been just nominated as one of the managers of the month last month. So you don't want to start this one, on a very poor note, like Nuno did, because Nuno Espirito Santo, Spurs manager, he won the manager of the month award. I think that was August, and then in September, did he win again? I think he didn't win a game. So, that and more is coming up on the show. Make sure you do smash like on the video. Make sure you do smash like and subscribe. I'm going to be diving into much of what you would call what do I want to say? We're going to be diving into much of what you would call, who is injured, who is available, and obviously how both teams could line up. I have a very good one from the Guardian, and here we go. This is how both teams could line up in today's game. Arsenal, you expect Ramsdale, you expect Gabriel, White, Tomiyasu, and Kiantiani. Lokonga could step in for Granit Xhaka. Thomas Partey in the midfield pivot with Albert Samuel Lokonga. Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Again, this is from the Guardian, and I absolutely agree with them. I think it's gonna take some time for players like Nicola Pepe, Ban Leno, and a couple of other players out there to get to get a playing chance at Arsenal. There are a couple of players that have just made themselves, that have just announced themselves as very, very important players in that Mikel Arteta side, and it's really gonna be a lot of hard work, a lot of competition in that team to get back. And one of those players is Nicola Pepe, but we'll speak about that later. And then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, looks like Mikel Arteta has just decided to give him every game until when he finds his form. And I absolutely do not have a problem with that. I do not have a problem with that. I've always thought, you need that kind of striker that can be lethal, that can be clinical. I think Lacazette is a very good striker, especially when it comes to holding the ball and things like that. But he's not as lethal as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and that's the only reason that's why I would take Aubameyang over Alexander Lacazette, right? So for Southampton, you expect them to have Sanchez in goal, Dunk, Duffy, and Van in a back three. Then you have Veltman and Cucurella. I think Cucurella is one of their dangerous players playing out wide. Then Bissouma is a doubt. Yeah, Bissouma is a doubt, but I think if he comes back, if he makes it for this game, they're going to be lucky because I saw them against Crystal Palace. They didn't have Yves Bissouma, and they were absolutely toothless. They're absolutely toothless, especially when it comes to getting and gaining possession back. They struggle like you can't imagine. They absolutely struggle so much. So you know, putting all factors constant, they need Yves Bissouma. He's a doubt. He's the doubt in this game, but they need him. Of course, Bissouma will be playing alongside Gross. Then you have, you have Trossard, you have Connolly, and Neil Mope as well. Now, that is how both teams could line up. I don't expect many changes because that is almost the lineup that Brighton put up against Crystal Palace on Monday this week. And they drew 1-1, a game that they should have lost 1-0. I think Patrick Vieira will be very, very unhappy with this side because they absolutely did everything, and I just thought this was their time. I just thought they were going to win it. I just thought this was it, but eventually they failed to get the 3 points. Arsenal, you don't expect many changes. If there are changes, then it could be Smith Rowe and Albert Sambi-Lokonga. If you look into both camps, who is available and who is not, you'll be quite surprised that Arsenal actually have no injuries, and I'm surprised, by the way. I'm really, really surprised that we do not have injuries, because if you look at this preview written by The Guardian, they're saying that you have to go back almost 40 years to find the last time Arsenal played Brighton in the top flight while below them in the table, with that game coming at the Highbury in January 1982, ending goalless. That was an Arsenal side in transition back then as it is now. Even if the Gunners buoyed by the 3 consecutive league victories, a win on Saturday evening, they cannot overtake Graham Potter's team. Graham Potter's team. Testament to Brighton's good start to the season. Granit Xhaka's injury is a blow to Mikel Arteta, who will hope to carry on the momentum from their emphatic win against Spurs on Sunday. Right. And look, yes, I know Brighton, and this is absolutely on me. I know Brighton have started so well, because if you look at the table, you're gonna be amazed. You're gonna be amazed if you look at the table. It's like they're in the title race. Of course, they are not in the title race at the moment, but it looks like they're in the title race. Now, they're in position 6 on the table. Position 6. They have 13 points. Actually, they have the same number of points as Manchester City, right? And City are second. And they have scored 8 goals and conceded 5. That means they have not conceded so many goals as well. They have not scored so many goals, right? We've scored 5 and conceded 10. They have scored 8 and conceded 5. That shows you how disciplined they are defensive-wise. They have lost only 1 game, if I'm not really mistaken. They have only lost 1 game, and that is a loss that came against Everton. They were absolutely poor, honestly. Just say it. They were absolutely poor in that game, and they deserve to lose it. They deserve to lose it. Just like the Crystal Palace game, where they got lucky, but what can I say? So yes, they have started well, and there's so many good statistics on their side at the moment. Arsenal have not started well. We are playing a team that has really, really started well. We're playing a team that has got a lot of momentum now. But in the end, I just feel like Arsenal can do it. Arsenal can beat Brighton, because if you look at our team news, everyone is available, right? I think the only problem now we have is who starts and who doesn't. We have already seen that with the likes of Leno and the likes of Aaron Ramsdale. You already have a role there. You already have a war there. What that I think shouldn't be even happening, right? a way that I think shouldn't be happening. We've got to manage the situation. Mikel has got to manage the situation. That is a woe that should not happen at Arsenal, right? So no injuries for Arsenal apart from Granit Xhaka. No one is doubtful at the moment. No one is doubtful. It's only Granit Xhaka who comes back in January. The rest of the players are absolutely free and fit for this game. And I would say, what an opportunity, right? If I can say that, what an opportunity. It's one of the few times when Arsenal has all their players available except one or two. And that gives us a lot. It gives you a rich bench, because if you look at the players that could actually sit on our bench, right? If you look at, because look, Leno is on the bench. Carl Hayne could be on the bench. Arthur Okonkwo could be on the bench. Chambers, Holding, Cedric Soares, Lacazette, Martinelli, Nketiah, Pepe, Balogun, all those players, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Nuno Tavares, all those players could be on the bench. So you have around 3 game changers. Martinelli could come on and change a game. Lacazette comes on and he could change a game. And then you have Nuno Tavares could come on and probably change a game. Pablo Mari could come on if any defender gets injured, something that we do not really want. And of course, Nicola Pepe. You expect Nicola Pepe to be coming on very, very often if he doesn't start games. So a rich bench. It gives us a very, very rich bench, and one that really is good in terms of investment. But the other is you have your 11 there, right? You have your 11 there, the players that do have the chemistry and the players that do understand each other absolutely well. Now, on the other side, Brighton do have a couple of injuries. Danny Nitak Mensah Welbeck has got a hamstring injury. Alzate has an ankle injury. Enoch Mwepu has a groin injury, and as well as Webster, right? So they have a couple of important players out. I think Enoch Mwepu is an important player. I think Alzate is an important player. I think he picked up the knock against Crystal Palace, because he did start against Crystal Palace, and then Danny Welbeck as well. So that means the likes of Connolly should be coming in. Lamptey is returning. Tariq Lamptey is coming back, and it gives them that kind of pace. So Lamptey is coming back has come back from injury. Then have the likes of McAllister and Richards, as well. So I think, look, let's try to dive into my thoughts on the game, because that is what really matters now. What I think about this game and how we can beat Brighton, because that is what we want. The moment we beat Brighton, we've done it, right? The moment we beat Brighton, we've absolutely done it. So how can we beat Brighton if we can't beat them, right? It's away from home at the Amex Stadium, and that means you've got to award them maximum respect. That means you've got to you've got to award them the respect they deserve. You don't just go out there and feel like you're just gonna step on them, right? Our referee is Jonathan Moss. It's gonna be our referee. The same fixture this last season ended in a 1-0 win for Arsenal. Actually, we got 6 points against Brighton last season. That was 1-0. A 1-0 win. I don't really remember the goal scorer. I don't remember the goal scorer at the Amex last season. Who was it? Was it Xhaka? I don't think it was Xhaka, really. I don't remember the goal scorer. I think it was, it was Alexander Lacazette. It was Alexander Lacazette who scored for us. If I'm not really forgetting that, it should be Alexander Lacazette, because the moment he was subbed on, he scored a goal. Actually, his first 2 touches, one was to stop the ball, and the other was to find the back of the net. I think so. We beat them last season at their home, 1-0, and I think last season when we beat them, we were just coming from a very long deep slumber. We were in a transition as well, and of course we are still in the we're still in a transition. So Jonathan Moss is the referee, and Arsenal last season won this fixture at the Amex Stadium, 1-0, right? So why do I think we will beat Brighton? I think my reasons are absolutely biased, but they can qualify to be biased because I'm an Arsenal fan. And the reason that's why I think we will beat Brighton, like it or not, is one, I think they play at a very slow rate. They keep the ball, they love passing it around, they're confident passing it around, but they pass it at a very slow rate, right? And that means, because I saw Crystal Palace, whenever Brighton came forward, Crystal Palace could expose them at the back. They could expose their high line, and that's really, really dangerous if you're playing against a team like Arsenal that has players like Smith Rowe, Pepe, Saka, Odegaard, players that can expose that high line, players that can cause all sorts of trouble for you at the back line. So what I think there is, if Arsenal and Mikel set out to expose, I think if we get the ball all the time and try to pass it around, we might not be better than them at the moment, because both teams are not yet ready to dominate games. We have already seen that in Arsenal performances. We have also seen that in Brighton performances. When they played against Crystal Palace, they tried to dominate that game. They tried to have more minutes on the ball. They tried to have more time on the ball. And for me, it didn't work out for them. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. But it didn't work out for them. And Crystal Palace kept on exposing their high line over and over again. So what I think they should do in this game, try to play kind of a low block, right? Try to play kind of, if they play a low block, it will give Arsenal some hard time. But if they cut themselves open, if they just expose themselves, like, play this kind of very, very open football, I think we will beat them, and we will beat them on the break. However, this is the way I think we should say it out. Brighton do not play, and Graham Potter, they don't play defensive football. They don't. I've seen them against Everton. Everton pressed them against the wall. And if you look at all the goals they conceded, they were pure, goals out of creativity. And that shows you how poor they are as Brighton in defending the ball, right? Yes, they have a good clean record, but that's only because they have not played any little sides this season. They played Everton, they played Crystal Palace. The rest of the teams they have been playing, they have not got any points from the teeth of the tiger. Not yet. I don't think if they get points against Arsenal, it will be getting points from the teeth of the tiger. I don't know. I don't know whether that's true, whether that is possible or not. But I just feel like if they can get points against Arsenal, that's going to be a major jump. That's going to be a major hit in their season. And of course, if Arsenal can go to the Amex after beating Spurs at home, if we can go to the Amex and grab 3 points, that's going to be a major statement, especially for Mikel Arteta. A big, big statement from Mikel Arteta. So at the end, out of everything, I still believe Arsenal have got everything to beat Brighton. And this is how we do it. 1, play a high-tempo game. Don't play slow football. Now, we played well against Spurs in the first half. In the second half, it was more of game management. But if you can put up that show against Brighton, right? I don't care if we get them on the break. I don't care if we attack them from minute 1 and possess them. But can we play at a very high tempo, right? Can we play at a very high speed? Because that is a problem to Brighton, and we know that. And with the fact now, or with the possibility that that their best midfielder, especially in terms of providing that cover to the back four. Yavis Bissouma is out. You've got to exploit them. You've got to exploit them. You've got to exploit them. So it's gonna be. I think it's just gonna be one of those. Wait, just a moment. Right. Thank you so much, Mike 90 Ducks. Right. So, like I was saying, if you're looking at beating Brighton, you're looking at playing at a very high tempo. That is one of the things we are looking at, and then also you're looking at playing a very open game, right? Because they do play they do play open football. So if we can play an open game, if we can play that kind of football that just attracts them to get out of their defensive patterns and then try to exploit them there, it's gonna be absolutely wonderful. But of course, like I said, we will have the match build up later on. Around, I think it will be around 5. We shall have the match build up, reacting to the lineups, and things like that. And of course, we shall have the watch along later. Thanks everybody for watching. Smash a like on the video, subscribe, and then let me speak to you very, very soon in the next one.